Hi everyone. I We had some major technical difficulties tonight. Totally my bad. I apologize. I just an hour and a half with myself, wondering where is everybody? Why can't I see them? Why isn't this interactive thing not working? I apologize. It's been a year since I did a Google Hangout, so I usually have a second person who can make sure I'm live and everything is working and brilliant. So I really hope this one works. Yeah, that wasn't possible tonight, so I apologize. I am going to re-record with your vibration, your energy, your enthusiasm, which of course I missed because you've been waiting for me so patiently. I want to give this high value training to you because I believe in you, and I believe in love, and I believe in this. You guys are like, Mary Jane, I need this. I need to know how to avoid the wrong guy. This is causing me so much pain and suffering, so much heartache, so much disappointment, so much frustration. And, it's totally avoidable. So I'm going to do two things. I am going to do what I was going to do before, which is back this up with a vocal voice message. So in case this video doesn't go live or doesn't work, then we've got a recording that we can base off of. And let's just have a rerun. So apparently that was my hour and a half with trial run. I'll try not to be attached to how brilliant it was and try to deliver the same really high-powered content for you. Maybe it'll be even better. Who knows? Okay, believe we can do this. All right, so first of all, welcome to the 7 signs that he is not the one, and the little 3 signs that you are dating the right guy. So you are in the right place if you really identify with being a nice girl, someone who is heart-centered, intuitive, giving, loving, empathic, compassionate, caring, heart-centered, light-focused, gratitude, open-hearted, all that great stuff, okay? So, and really, nice girls fall into, if you're not familiar with my work, nice girls fall into certain traps. We have certain vulnerabilities because our compassion and our good-heartedness and our, positive intention for other people and our giving the benefit of the doubt and our generosity can really get us into trouble. It can be a stick point for us where it's an open door for what I call nice girl vulnerabilities, which hint, hint, hint is next week's training. The certain vulnerabilities that we have and how we can protect our heart and pat ourselves from it. So one of the ways that we can really protect ourselves from heartache is why you're here today. There's nothing worse and nothing more heartbreaking. And this was me, and part of my story was dating a man, who over time made me feel less lovable because he didn't show up for me, made me feel less worthy because of his issues. And that really, was devastating for me. It's why I just spend years in therapy and coaches and personal development and really grow. Now I took the win from it. I took my mess and made it my message and my mission and really, but it's the heartache that I sometimes carry, the regrets I sometimes carry that can come up every so often that I, energetically clear after, that are really centered around all the ways that I gave myself away to be loved. And the nice girl behaviors came out of them. The overgiving, the overtrying, the perfectionism, the pleasing, the sacrificing, giving him the benefit of the doubt and putting his needs before mine. All of those behaviors came out of the fear and anxiety, and the idea that I wasn't good enough. And I got that idea because someone didn't love me very well, because someone cheated on me, because someone, didn't marry me and didn't treat me as the cherished, amazing woman that I need to be treated as. And I imagine that's the same for you. So if that is you and you're feeling that and experiencing that, my heart is with you. I understand. And you can turn it around. You can make it totally different so that you can actually attract a really good, high quality, loving man who is amazing for you. And I've watched hundreds of my clients do that. And so I want the same for you. I am holding that possibility for you and that seed for you. Let's make it happen. So that's what February is all about. It's Worthiness Month. It's let's love you up and cherish you. Let's give you the confidence and the competence that you need to be successful to find love. So you can feel worthy and find love, because guess what? There's two different things. The confidence is the feel worthy part, right? You feel good, you feel worthy, you feel lovable, you get that peace, you get that foundation. But if you have all that great confidence and you don't have competence, you don't know how to date, you don't know how to screen for love, or what I call date for love, which means screen out the riffraff and bring the good guy in and inspire his love and inspire his heart connection for you. Let him really see you authentically as your feminine, most brilliant, most loving, most big-hearted self. Without all the nice girl behaviors getting in the way, if you don't know how to do the competency part, you're going to fall flat. And if you have the competency, but you don't have the confidence, you know how to date, you know how to do all this surface kind of date stuff, but you don't feel worthy or lovable, and there's a wound there, or a mistrust around trusting yourself or trusting men, then you're going to fall flat there too. So all of my trainings and all of my energy is really about getting both of those things for you, those two key pieces, and all the little ingredients that need to happen in there. So you can know how to flirt and dress for a date, but if you walk in feeling insecure, forget it. Doesn't matter how great you look, doesn't matter how put together, doesn't matter how many great questions you ask him, doesn't matter all the great dating strategies that you have over here, and not going to land if you don't feel worthy. And if you feel worthy, but you have no dating competence, so you don't know how to online date, you don't know how to flirt, you don't know how to inspire him, you don't know how to communicate with a man that makes him want to meet your needs, like not begrudgingly, but like, oh my God, excitedly, and actually feels more love and affection and more admiration of you because of it. Competency, we have to get both, okay? So it's like anything in life, you know? It's weird that sometimes we think that our dating life doesn't apply the same way as money or a career, you know? If you want to, you can be confident, but if you don't have the education or knowledge to accomplish something in your career that you're expected to do for your job, yikes, right? And if you're competent, but you're not confident, it's not going to land. Okay, so we need both. Okay, so now I'm done that segue. Let's dig into this content. So here is, let me get the screen share thingy me do. Let me actually go over here. Sorry, this is the technical part. We are going to start the slideshow. There we go. And then I press this little button. Sometimes I wish there was like a little techie guru beside me here that did all for me. I did it. Yay, cool. Okay. All right. You are at 7 signs that he is not the one. That's what we're going to do today. So this will absolutely change the way that you think about men, okay? The way that you screen for love, the way that you think about love. Here's the thing. Heartache can be predicted and avoided. So once you have the tools and you know how to date and screen for love, then you're golden, right? You got the confidence, you got the competence, and that competence helps you get to the date for love system, okay? So our agenda for today is 7 signs that he is not the one, and 3 telling signs that the relationship has potential. Now, in between that, I'm going to put the Q&A. So you're going to want to stay right till the very end because I'm going to do the 7 signs that he's not the one, and then I'm going to go into some Q&A questions, and then I'm going to leave the best for last, which is to really reinforce those 3 telling signs that the relationship has potential and that he's worth your time, your heart, and your energy. So who am I? If you don't already know, and I forgot to tell you, I am Mary Jane Kaptein, the nice girl love and dating coach for men and for women, and I am also the proud mama. Let me gush for a moment. The one love of my life, the one dream that I had in my, from my early 20s that finally came true in my 40s, was to have this beautiful little boy, Adam, who is my adoring, sweet, sensitive, very nice little boy. So saying that, he did punch me the other day. That's toddlers for you. They do weird things that they think are funny. Okay, so this is Adam, and I just want to share it. Ladies, look at those eyelashes and those big, beautiful lips. I think a French woman, when I was in Cuba, said he had lips like a god, and I agree. Very kissable. And the one with the little umbrella was just recently at my birthday, and we were at the sushi place. There's this little dinosaur on the table, and he was having his first maraschino cherry, which he went crazy for. We had to ask for a whole bowl of them from the lady. Him drinking a smoothie, a little berry smoothie, and the other one is England, actually. That's a beautiful castle in the background, a lovely shot of the grave site that was right in front of the castle we came out of. And just a couple weeks ago, he had his first day at school, a little pre-play school, pre-kindergarten kind of thing. And that's him giving his serious face in his coat. So dreams do come true. So I held that dream for a long time and made that happen, and very thrilled about that. Okay, so Here's the thing. I am not one of those experts who did everything right. I am quite the opposite. I struggled in my own love life. I was I was a fitness coach turned life coach slash business coach turned love coach. Okay, so that was the thing. And I was working with clients, and they kept coming to me with their love life. And it was also the area that I was growing in, being challenged in, being educated in. And I really, before I even really put it out there publicly, declared myself as a love coach, I had gone through the gamut, made every mistake so that you don't have to, and really, learned it right from the ground, and also studied and researched, and, put the two together, and the love coach that I am today. So I'm a recovered nice gal. Again, I made every relationship mistake you can think of, mostly dating emotionally unavailable men, settling for less, and giving too much. I know the pain of loving too much, being a doormat, and trying hard to make love happen. So I get it. I've been in your shoes. I understand. There is nothing but a vast amount of compassion from me and understanding from me. I get it from the experiential point. I also know how you can break free of it, which is super exciting. I stopped the madness and declared no more nice gal. I'm not going to be nice anymore, because guess what? Nice is strategy. Nice is not the same as kindness. You get to be kind, but nice, actually, kind is when you love you as much as you love somebody else. As you put you first, because then you can be the best you can be. And we hear that all the time with motherhood, and I really know that now with Adam, is that I have to love me up and take care of me, because I can show up as the best mom that I can be. And so that's the declaration of the No More Nice Gal. It's not about being a bitch. It's not about being awful. It's not about being shut down. It's not about discounting the importance of love in your life. It's quite the opposite. It's about declaring that you're worth being loved. You are worth loving, that you are lovable, that you are more than good enough. You don't have to try so hard and do so much in order to be cherished and adored and loved and supported in your life. And so that is really the No More Nice Gal message. So here's what you want to stop doing. Stop giving yourself away to be loved, liked, and accepted. Stop tolerating things that are less than you, and actually knowing, discerning what that looks like, what is deserving of you and what isn't deserving of you, and the gap of how to actually get that, inspire that, create it, attract it, and magnetize it into your life is why I do what I do, and why I'm here to support you today. And please relax. There is no sales in this. This is a completely free training. I'm here to serve you and support you and inspire you to believe in love and to get what you need to be supported in that process. So relax and take in all the goodies. They're my Valentine's gift for you, that and from my heart to yours. So open your heart, open your mind, engage into your own story, and not the story that's a limiting one, but the story that is the possibility, that is really truly your giftedness, your talent, your amazingness, and really that you just probably are on this call because you've gotten the raw deal. You've been heartbroken way too many times, more than your fair share, and it's just because you didn't know any better. If I knew what I knew, if I knew now what I knew then, right? Oh my gosh, right? I was, our clients and I always joke, we're like, if we could get back all the time that we wasted on men, all the money that we wasted on men, all the heartbreak that we wasted on men, like what an extraordinary place we would be in our life right now. And I say, well, just say No More Nice Gal and start that now. And this is not a man bashing thing. There might even be a few men in the call. So I do serve nice men who are really looking for a real love, connection, and relationship, not just a pickup artist thing. And, hats off to you guys that are the new evolution of conscious men in the world, and big love to you as well too. Okay, so this is not about blaming yourself or blaming men. I want you to stop feeling like you're flawed or broken, that there's something wrong with you, that you're still single, that you haven't figured this out yet. I've made way more mistakes than you, and I've come out the other side. So if I can do it, I'm not special. The universe doesn't play favorites. Then we can definitely get you there as well too. Okay. Let's go on. Okay, I love this. Beautiful, beautiful lady in our No More Nice Gal private community on Facebook shared this just the other day, and my heart just broke for her and went out to her. And so I'm sending you my love, I'm sending you my energy, and I'm hoping the community will just rally around you as well. If you're not part of that community, please pop over and say hi and join in and get the love and support. It's a great group of women who really are there to love each other up and support each other, and share our wisdom and our talents and our gifts with each other, so, and their inspirations. So please, if you also feel called, you can reach out to this lovely lady. Okay, here was her message. She says, time and time again, I've had nothing but one heartache after another. I really can't take the pain anymore. I'm really at this point where I'm truly thinking I'm better off alone because the intense amount of pain I'm going through is just not worth any little amount of joy that I might get in a relationship. I am now equating love with pain. I'm tired of giving my heart and dealing with fickle men and being abandoned time and time again. There's no certainty in love, and I'm just a wreck right now. I wish there was something I can do to heal and not feel so bitter, angry, and depressed. Does anyone relate? Yes. Deep breath there. Ouch. So you are one of the reasons I'm doing this training. This is all preventable. That doesn't mean you're to blame. I'm not blaming you. My heart goes out to you. We've all been in your shoes. And I want you to stop being abandoned. I want you to stop being misled. I want you to stop being heartbroken and disappointed. I want you to stop experiencing pain. And, you know, it's interesting. I was talking to my business coach the other day, and very lovingly, she looked at me and she said, there's this area that I'm struggling in, and I know that I've got some patterning in there, because I wouldn't be getting that same negative result. Like, I wouldn't be missing the mark if there wasn't some pattern there that was blocking me, a limiting belief or an idea. And she very lovingly said, "Hey, honey, it's you." It's you. It's because you're missing this one thing. You're missing this piece that you really need to get confident in. And once you do, and you're able to convey your message better in this way and this way and this way, then you're going to get over that one little hurdle that you're struggling in. Because look at all the confidence you have in all those areas, because you've got that. You've mastered that. And here's a piece that you just need some skill set around. So I hope you're listening, to this training as well too, hun, because, and for all of you that are on the call, you're just missing that competency piece. You're missing the, how do I know that this is the guy worth giving my heart, my time, and my energy to, and that's why you're here. And that's what I'm here to serve you with today, is those signs that he's not the right guy, so that you don't end up being the one who has to pay the price for that, and feeling defeated and disappointed and discouraged and depressed and bitter and angry and unlike yourself. Because guess what? That is not your true nice gal energy. That is not your true nice girl self. Your true nice gal is light and love and inspiration and encouragement and open-heartedness and possibility, and almost like a dreaming childlike naivety that is actually a sense of wonder and curiosity. I mean, that's who nice girls truly, really are. We're also very strong and very powerful in our intuition and our empathy and our ability to understand people, and our ability to meet their needs. And when that isn't getting twisted and manipulated, it really is such a brilliant and beautiful gift. So you still get to be a nice gal who has this beautiful, amazing heart, but knows how to be strong, how to take care of herself, how to put herself first, how to screen for love and date for love, so that she gets the love that she truly deserves and desires. And that is going to be you. So I'm holding the space for that, even as you do take some time to heal and to grow. And for those of you who relate to her, then please soak that up. Okay, no more heartache is my mandate. No more heartache, completely avoidable. And so we've got to get you the confidence, the self-worth, and the confidence that get you to the no more heartache zone, okay? That means knowing who to date and how to date, the right man to invest your heart in. And then the second step, which we don't get into in this training, but is really the next piece I tell people, is that once you're with the right guy, let's align you with that right guy, then here's how I'm going to help you inspire the communication and the connection, the heart-to-heart connection that makes the man fall madly in love with you, see you as special and unique and adore and cherish you. And so that's where you can go. I love it. Okay. And I love this quote. I just want to share this with you because this is truly who you are and how you can be in the world fully when you're not worried about getting your heart smashed all over the place, or you're picking up the pieces from your heart being broken. Create beauty and attract love from the strength of your self-worth, your confidence, and your loving heart. And I hold the space for that for you. Okay, let's dig in. So sign number one, that he is not the one. He is inconsistently attentive. He's inconsistent. There is nothing more crazy-making, more maddening, confusing, shocking than a man who is inconsistent. So what does that look like? It looks like the man who is hot and then cold. He's totally into you. He's totally crazy about you, saying amazing things. He's building up, the future. He's doing all this stuff, and then he just totally goes cold. And you're like, what happened? Right? And the worst thing is women, we're just like, what did I do? What did I say? I must have done something wrong. How do I do something right? And we try harder. We try to fix it. We try to change it. That's what nice girls do. We try to make up for him. We give ourselves away. We give more and more and more, hoping we can inspire us, you know, to get him back to the hot phase. When really, you know, he's just an inconsistently attentive guy because of his own reasons. And we're picking up all the bloody slack. That sucks. That's painful. So a man who's not serious about making a commitment will come in hot and then cold. He'll be into you for like one night a week. Now, I'm sorry, even if it's the best night of your week, that's not okay. Why is only one night a week? Why do you only get one night a week of happy? One night a week of his adoration and attention, when you want a lifetime, you want it all the time. What the heck? One night is not enough. It's kind of like exercise. You can't just, you know, brush your teeth one day a week and think you're gonna have healthy teeth. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. I'm just using practical stuff to compare it to. You know, you're great when you're alone together, but he never introduces you to his family or his friends or his coworkers or any other aspect of his life. You know, I had one lady who hadn't ever seen his plays. Like, they've been together almost a year. That's crazy to me. Like, she wasn't invited into his world. That would make me very suspicious, right? Which we did have reasons to be. Okay. Or you're the last minute booty call, or he avoids real dates. You only hang out at his house or only hang out at your house, comes over late at night, always on Friday, then sort of disappears again. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. This is not a man who is into you, crazy. I want you forever. I'm committed to you. I'm ready for a long-term relationship. I'm serious about really showing up to a deeper connection. No. Okay, so inconsistently attentive, big, huge red flag, signs that he is not the one. Okay, let me take a drink of water. Sign number 2, he lacks integrity. This is a huge one. So what he says and what he does don't match. Now, I get this question all the time, you know, why is he talking future with me, building this all up, and then only to disappear? Or, you know, why is he all in and then, you know, says these great things about me, and next minute, you know, he's behaving in a way that doesn't make me feel cherished or doesn't make me feel like he actually, you know, he's praising me about something and then he just totally tears me down. I don't get that, right? So a man who doesn't keep his word, that's a huge red flag. If he's not showing up for you, if he's changing plans last minute, you know, for some lame excuse, then you really have to start to challenge if what he says he wants is actually the truth of what he, you know, is committed to creating. And I'll just give a really benign example. So because you could have from the greatest degree of a man who is not keeping his word is because he doesn't have that strength of integrity within himself. He's not a bad person. He's not trying to mislead you or be directly dishonest with you, but he doesn't have that strength of character. That in itself is something that isn't really worthy of you ultimately. And I'll explain why as we keep going. But on the deeper end, it could be the guy that is, those things don't match because he is lying to you. Lying by omission, meaning leaving details out, or directly lying to you, directly trying to mislead you, harming you in some way. You are setting yourself up for harm either way, whether we're talking the nice guy who just hasn't developed that strength of character within himself, and then how reliable is he going to be in your relationship? How much are you going to be able to trust him and lean on him and open your feminine, vulnerable heart to him if he's not a man who can really, truly show up for you? And the other piece of that is if he's misleading you, then you're definitely going to get your heart trampled on and trashed, and then you're going to end up again feeling bad about yourself and trying to pick up the pieces. So a man who lacks integrity is not a man you can trust, right? He doesn't have that demonstrable personal commitment and power. And without it, his unreliability will leave you feeling disappointed, let down, unappreciated, angry, and resentful, and rightfully so. Okay? Exercise is an example. You say you want to work out, you know, let's say 5 days a week, and maybe you even buy the membership, right? You go on the date, you start dating women, you say you want to date, you say you want to be in a relationship, you start to date, right? You say you want to exercise 5 days a week, and then you buy the gym membership, but somewhere in there, you never actually fully show up. Or you show up to the gym, but you don't really do anything, or you start, you know, getting distracted, or you sort of like don't let the dates happen. So happens all the time with people making their New Year's resolution around exercise. So here you are, or here that person is, you know, saying that they're committed to it, but not actually following through. So there's a gap there. There's a gap in strength of character. There's a gap in discipline. There's a gap in determination. There's an underlying desire that is actually more stronger or more immediate than that deeper desire to be committed to the exercise program. Like sometimes you just want to sleep more or sometimes you're more committed to something else. So there is something holding that person back from getting from point A to point B. The point is, do you want him to figure that out on your time? So for whatever reason, it doesn't matter what it is. Don't make it about you. Don't personalize it. He's not able to show up the way that he says he's going to show up. So he might be fearing rejection, right? Women say that all the time. Well, maybe, he had a really bad breakup. He's fearing rejection. So, sometimes he's in our relationship and sometimes he's out of our relationship. Like he's in between. Again, do you want him to figure it out on your time and on your heart? Where it's like, dude, actually, why don't we stop dating and you figure out what you're actually deeply committed to? Are you more committed to protecting your heart and not dating anybody, not trusting anybody again, or overcoming whatever issues you had back there, or figuring out your job, your job's more important, or whatever he's more committed to than you, then he doesn't get your pretty. Okay, you need to walk away. All right, so number 2 sign that he is not the one, he lacks integrity. All right, this is a big one, really close to my heart, because 90% of all the clients who come to me because of this one particular issue. And it's one of those, hint, hint, what we'll talk about next week, nice girl vulnerabilities that we want to be mindful of. It is sign number 3. So he's insecure. And so one of the nice girl vulnerabilities is because we're so nice, we give benefit of the doubt. We've had moments where we felt insecure. We've been in relationships that have triggered insecurity in us. We've felt less than and not good enough in the presence of certain men, either because they were building us up and tearing us down, or they were always tearing us down, or because we felt they were unattainable and better than we'd experienced before, and we thought they were out of touch or out of reach. We weren't the kind of woman that could be with a guy like that. And so when an insecure man actually comes into a nice girl's life, it's very easy for us to feel compassion for him and understanding what it feels like to be in his shoes. And so we can really just show up in that energy of, wanting to fix him and support him and nurture him. And, the same way that we probably wanted someone to help us and be compassionate, nurturing, and loving when we felt like we had missed the mark in some way or it didn't quite measure up. The problem is that how men deal with their insecurity doesn't have the prerequisite of vulnerability and empathy and compassion that women tend to have, because their psychology is built differently and their brains are built differently. So when you're dating an insecure man, at first it can be this, you're connecting your wounds together. He can really trigger that nice girl part of you that wants to fix and support and help, because we naturally do that so well. The compassionate part comes out, but then you're always in the unequal relationship with somebody, and one where the power structure is different, and one where the give and take is not balanced and appropriate. And so it can be downright dangerous to the extreme, which I will share the examples with you. And it can also be on this other level where it just never will deeply heal your heart or fulfill you in the greatest way. And let me explain why. So the number 3 sign that he's insecure. So here's the thing. Insecure men say certain things like this on the beginning of a date. Here's a very subtle sign at the very beginning that you're dating an insecure man. I can't believe a woman like you is interested in me. Or you are my everything. Or 5 dates in, he says, I love you and I want to be with you forever. Okay, and these are actual quotes from clients. So while the all-encompassing kind of attention of the insecure man, it can be very flattering at first and very intoxicating. Over time, he actually has a constant need for reassurance and for validation, and possibly an overbearing possessiveness that can actually leave you feeling very exhausted and very trapped. So insecure men need constant validation, and they become very possessive, very angry, very jealous, very mistrusting for seemingly no reason at all. And on the very extreme end, very controlling and extremely abusive, whether physically and or emotionally or both. So let's give some examples, right? So all your energy at the benign level of like, well, either way, dealing with an insecure man is that all your energy in the relationship is actually going to be devoted to constantly reassuring him and validating him, to try to manage his mistrust and his jealousy and his possessiveness. And the more, unbeknownst to me, and I'd never known this before when I was with men like that, or I'd been the woman who was insecure because I'd been with men who were emotionally unavailable and withholding, is that the insecure man will, the more that you try to reassure, fix, support, validate, affirm, acknowledge, the more intense their insecurity becomes. Weird, I know, but it actually feeds it. And makes it grow bigger. And so what starts off as a very subtle form of insecurity, or little moments or little comments that you can it's very easy to minimize or dismiss or not take very seriously, over time actually build into a huge, huge problem. So let's look to make this tangible, and I'll share an example from a client. So Mary dated this super nice man, seemingly shy, very, very nice, secure, seemingly secure, had his life in order kind of thing. Insecure man who lavished her with gifts and fancy dinners and pampering. Now for Mary, this felt a lot like love, right? She had been, been with emotionally unavailable men, been with men who were hot and cold, been with men who were non-committal, been with men who were withholding and not very loving. So all this demonstration of love to her was intoxicating and incredibly flattering and incredibly like, wow, this is so different. I've been needing this, right? She just, obviously opened herself to that. And so at first this all felt like love, like I said, but over time she really, there was like an ick factor, like a bad feeling that came with it. And she started to suspect that Chris was really trying to buy and secure her affection and her love, right? And he needed that constant validation that she loved him, and then never really believed her as well. Terrified of abandonment, Chris had a constant need to talk about his feelings and to gain reassurance from Mary that she loved him and was committed to him, and that there was nobody else in her life, that she was tempted to be with. And what happened over time is that Mary just lost her patience. She was exhausted by his constant emotional demands for reassurance and support, smothered by his need to be ever present in her life. She felt like she had no space and no ability to just sing and be in her own world. She was turned off by his neediness and just lost all attraction with Chris and ended the relationship. Okay, and that's a version of the nice guy version, not so extreme, but still very disheartening. And I have to say that Mary really doubted for a while, like, should I have done something more? Did I trigger that insecurity in him? What could I have done more? What could I have done more, right? The try-hard nice gal. She was really very confused and really took a lot of ownership and responsibility for how Chris was showing up, okay? Let's talk about another example, which is Grace. Grace was attracted to Jeff because he had a steady job. He was very settled, had his life together, and was the kind of man that she knew would be faithful. And she'd experienced a lot of betrayal, of infidelity in her past. So that was very, very appealing to her. She felt very safe and very secure with Jeff initially. She moved in, around 6 months. And right around that time, Jeff's insecurity actually magnified and became an even bigger problem. So she saw glimpses of it before. But now also living in his house, he was extremely perfectionistic, had very high standards and high demands, and was one of the ways that he was controlling, and also this chronic worrying all the time. So out of love for Jeff, Grace is thinking, well, his love language must be acts of service. She tried to appease his demands, tried to love him in the way of keeping the house really clean and doing things that she knew would please him, as well as comforting and reassuring him when his worry or his mind would go off in certain places. But what actually happened, was really shocking and puzzling to Grace, is that instead of calming down, here's the part where she was feeding it unbeknownst to herself, Jeff's behavior actually escalated into fault-finding, critical remarks, and accusations of infidelity that made Grace feel, first of all, totally misunderstood and not seen. Made her feel like she had to walk in eggshells around him, and paranoid about ever leaving the house or doing certain things without having to account where she was all of the time, and really frightened because she didn't know, his behavior was so uncharacteristic. She couldn't predict what was going to happen next, so the eggshell effect began to happen. Jeff's behavior basically became emotionally abusive and controlling. He started fault finding with her, from subtle criticisms to outright verbal attacks. Again, the constant accusations of mistrust and infidelity, and her having to account for every move that she made. Grace made the mistake, and again, it's a very innocent, very easy one to fall into, especially as a nice girl, of minimizing his insecurity out of compassion to his sensitive nature and what she believed a story of his bad luck in relationships in life. She now knows better, of course, and has moved out. Okay, so that's really an example of how dangerous, how benign it can seem at the beginning, but how dangerous a man who's insecure can become in your life. All right, trucking along. Let me get some more water here. It seems like I've only been talking for a short time for this recording, but I just talked for an hour and a half in the other one. Okay, he's self-centered. Overly confident men can seem really powerful and control, like Don Draper types, very attractive, very in charge of their life, someone who's very masculine and, can be very appealing. But in actuality, the kind of man I'm talking about right now is self-centered. So when you're dating a self-centered man, it's really all about him and all about his needs. That's number one. That's, that's how you know. Now, everything's on his own terms. Now, you don't see that initially. It just feels like he's in charge of his world. But what happens is in the romantic phase is that this man charms you. He lavishes you with attention and compliments. He's building up, but he's got an agenda behind that. His positive manipulation, and I say manipulation because there's such a difference when someone gives to you and you don't feel like you owe them. But with a self-centered man, there's an owing. He'll probably even point out that you owe him, maybe not right away or in subtle jokes or little comments, or he'll look to you like, how come you're not paying the bill as well? Like there's just an entitlement, an arrogance, a guilt, and anger. He'll use all of those things to sort of manipulate, take over the positive manipulation of building you up to actually just getting you to comply, to do what he wants you to do. The number one sign that you are dating a self-centered man, this is super important, mark this down, is that he is indifferent to your feelings. Okay. So if the man you're dating regularly ignores and dismisses your preferences, your standards, your feelings, and your treasured values or commitments, then that is a huge, huge warning sign that you're with a man who is thinking only of himself, only of his own needs, only of his own wants, and really has total disregard for how you factor into the process. Okay. Okay, lacks purpose. Number 5, signs that you know you're not with the right guy. He lacks purpose. Now, again, this is one that could be really easy to dismiss and to think, well, this is irregardless. Let's just lay this out there. A man's purpose has nothing to do with how ambitious he is, how accomplished he is, how much money he has, or what kind of material structure is in his life. So let's just remove that from the process. How he could have a lot of money and have no purpose. He could have a purpose and have very little money. So, they're really two separate issues. And so I'm not saying you're not allowed to have, a wealthy man on your list, but you might have a wealthy man who has no purpose, and that might create a problem in the relationship. So in terms of sustainability and in terms of signs of men who are really attractive and high value, we want him to be purposeful. Okay, so a man should have a passion or excitement for his life and interests that really go beyond you. One that will guard you from, you'll see the overlap here, from an insecure man, because an insecure man is going to feel threatened by your ambition, your talents, your goals, and try to hold you back. He's going to feel less than in your presence because you're accomplishing more than him, or living a more fulfilling life, or doing things that bring meaning and again, fulfillment, and that you're passionate about, that you're interested in, that ignite you and help you express more of who you are. And so being with a man who really lacks this could turn into, again, what we were just talking about, the needy, insecure, clingy guy that's smothering you and kind of holding you back that way, or the controlling, abusive guy is holding you back that way because he feels less than, but he makes it about you and projects that onto you. So, and now in the less extreme of those, and the more subtle end, a man who lacks a purpose will never really engender your full respect. And a relationship is built on 3 main pillars, and this is any relationship, but especially love. So, I don't care if the relationship is family-based or partner-based, or, I want you to think of these 3 relationship pillars just going across the board. And when one of them is missing, it's a huge problem. And so those 3 pillars are love and like. Okay, you love the person, you like the person, you need both, and trust and respect. And if you have more purpose, more passion, more excitement, more enthusiasm for life than he does, first of all, he's not going to meet you in that happiness. You're going to kind of feel like left out and cheated. Like, dude, I kind of want a man who's like celebrating with me and igniting me and exciting me, because he's doing amazing things and I'm doing amazing things and life is kind of awesome. So if a man lacks purpose, he's still a nice guy and does a lot of things, but he lacks purpose and he lacks excitement and enthusiasm, there's going to be a missing piece there. And you're not going to feel as much respect for him. And guess what? If you don't respect him very much, you're not going to be as attracted to him. And if you're not as attracted to him, he'll feel more emasculated, and you'll probably find that you're going to look at other men who have a purpose and find them much more engaging and attractive than this man. So super, super important, from not only the danger warning signs, but just the thing that might be lacking in their relationship that won't allow it to evolve and grow to the next level, and for really you to evolve to the next level, which is the whole point of being in a love relationship, is to become a better person, to grow in who you are, to become more loving, more expressive, more authentic, more genuinely out there in the world. And you can't do that with a man who has no purpose. Okay. And plus, you won't trust him. That's a whole other conversation. Okay, we're trucking along. Here we go. We've got number 6. This one's huge. He makes you feel bad. Bad about yourself, bad about your family, bad about your job, bad about your life. He makes you feel bad. So you can have a guy that you feel good about yourself when you're with him, or you feel good with yourself with him some of the time, and the rest of the time you don't. It doesn't matter how that shows up. If you don't feel good about yourself when you're with him, if you notice that you begin to feel anxious, stressed, depressed, worried, insecure, unsure of yourself in any way, there is something going on. This is the signal. Emotions or feelings are simply feedback that you are not aligned. Not aligned with your deepest values, not aligned with what you truly want, not receiving what is worthy of you in your life. So your feelings are like that radar that are telling you, intuition's even deeper than that, but it's informed by our feelings. So it is literally saying you're driving in the wrong direction. There's something off here. There's something that's not right. So it should be a huge warning flag to you the minute that you don't feel good with a man. So it's like you should be lit up when you're around him, not dimmed. And it shouldn't be that you feel good only in his presence, and then when you leave him, all the anxiety, worry, and fear begin to be triggered, right? That all the things that, you kind of got lost in the moment of how good it felt to be with him, all those concerns, worries, and everything begin to flood you afterwards. Again, big warning sign that something is amiss. So let's share a really poignant story about this. And I can tell you, I'm such an advocate for my clients, because I deeply care and love about them. I care about, it's not just about getting them to the love. I really am like so strong about preventing them from getting hurt, from getting their hearts broken. I've been in that discouragement mode. I know what that feels like to have someone tear you down and make you feel less than, and sometimes it takes years to recover from that, and it is so not okay with me. I just get fierce. So I'm kind of losing my voice right now, but there's like the fierceness is there, and I really felt that when we were talking to Tammy. Just my heart went out to her, and I was like so fiercely advocating for her about self-protecting and taking care of herself, and really trusting that she knew that this was not a healthy relationship for her. So I'm so proud of her for having the courage to admit that, and the rebuilding process that it takes is so difficult, but so worth every single penny, every bit of energy and time. Okay, so Tammy was dating a charming man. It's not hard to get blown away again. Again, he lavished her with compliments. He had tons of affection, and realized that was her love language. Her love language is physical affection and words of affirmation. And she had never received that from a man. She was hungry for that. She was starving for that. And in a way that made her very vulnerable. Again, what we're going to talk about next week, that vulnerability of like, that's what her love language was. That's what she needed. And he saw that. And unfortunately, instead of being the good guy that, you know, was truly giving that to her, you know, from the heart without any maliciousness, took advantage of that from her. I feel so angry about that for her as well. So alone together, again, Tammy felt seen, she felt adored, she felt filled up with him. And very early on, in subtle, smaller ways, you know, she started to notice that David's wondering I was a bit more than just like noticing an attractive woman, that his energy would literally shift over to another woman, that he would drop her hand, you know, he would try to appear as if he wasn't coupled or he wasn't with her in some way. And so, you know, of course, you know, these shameless flirtations, you know, left her feeling humiliated and unsure of herself, really shocked and really confused initially, but they know not good about herself. And, you know, so he'd build her up and then he'd tear her down. And so, you know, Tammy came to me just wrought with anxiety and like totally paralyzed. She felt weakened and debilitated after David's flirtations really escalated into like full-blown, you know, pursuing other women in her presence, and how, you know, of course, the blow to her heart and how that made her feel about herself. And, you know, of course, in typical nice girl fashion, she was blaming herself and thinking it must be my insecurity. It must be, you know, I should be strong enough to handle this and not get jealous and not get upset. And, you know, he doesn't really know what he's doing, right? Dismissing his behavior. He knew full well what he was doing. And, you know, but she admitted that she felt weakened by David. And there's a reason. There's a, you know, for those of you who might be listening, who've never been, you know, at the brunt of narcissistic abuse or emotional abuse or domestic abuse in any way, there is a psychological system, a way that a person can gain power over you. It's the same thing that people use in Stockholm syndrome, you know, when they abduct people. It's the same thing con artists use. There are literally built-in psychological vulnerabilities that we have, and some of those, by the way, are innocently used in the marketing and sales systems, you know, to get you to buy something. So if someone can manipulate you to buy a product, they might be able to manipulate you into a relationship. And so I want you to just, you know, if you don't understand, then just take my word for it and have compassion that it's, you know, we're not stupid. There's no stupidity here. There is psychological hooks that actually compel us sometimes to tolerate certain things that are unworthy of us, put up with things, or to just be simply duped or manipulated in certain ways. And it's not for us to blame ourselves or each other or judge. It really is to have huge compassion and to pad those vulnerabilities, again, leading you into next week. This is why you want to show up for next week for that training. Pad those vulnerabilities so that we're not susceptible to that we can catch it. This is why you're on the call today, to know these signs and see these things right away, so you don't dismiss them, you don't minimize them, you don't give him the benefit of the doubt, you don't think it's just your imagination, you don't doubt yourself. Okay, so Tammy needed me to help her come out of that doubt that she was having, that he planted, and realize that his behavior was incredibly abusive and destructive towards her, and just not worthy of what she deserves. So, you know, the abuse cycle really happens in this psychological hook, this negative attachment hook, because this intense passion that he gave her, this intense way of fulfilling her needs and making her feel like she was the only one, building her up so strongly, and then pulling it away slightly and invalidating her and betraying her trust and leaving her feeling that way. You know, it was so shocking to her that it's almost like she didn't know what to do with that. And it really gave her power. Like, I'm putting my thumb, like just like putting power over top of her. So what she really realized, Tammy realized, is that David locked her into an emotional abuse cycle, again, building her up and tearing her down until she was too weak to defend herself and was only negatively hooked to try to win back his love, to try to get back the guy that she thought he was instead of the guy that he truly showed himself to be. So everyone can be manipulated in that way and deceived in that way. And the key is, how do we make sure that we get back out? So here's how we knew that this man was incredibly toxic for her. He showed complete disregard for her feelings, including disdain for the weakness he created in her, the insecurity he triggered in her. I have a great article on that on my Love Coach site. Are you insecure, or is the man you're dating making you feel insecure? If he's inconsistent and he's doing this game manipulation thing we're talking about, making you feel bad, you are going to feel insecure. You need to not blame yourself and realize he is the cause and the source of that, and get away from it as quickly as possible. So again, he disregarded her feelings. He showed disdain disdain for her weakness that he had created in her, and gleeful pleasure at the power he had over her. So when he saw that negative effect that he had on her to make her feel awful about herself, he got pleasure from it. It's very sick. And he literally, like a vampire, the vampire energy is the narcissist. So, and the narcissistic personality type. And so he literally sucked her dry and then blamed her for being empty, right? And then because he sucked her dry, she was dependent on going back to him to try to get any kind of sustenance at all. And that is the psychological hook cycle. So, yeah, we're still waiting on Tammy's recent, so I'm hoping she gets away. But my other clients who are in the same situation, we help them unhook emotionally from that type of man, and then also pad those vulnerabilities so that they would know what to see and they would never fall for a man like that again, so that they would see the signs very early before they got emotionally hooked on him, and therefore he had an inability to ever harm them again. Yeah, whew, that's a big one. Okay, here we go. No red icicle sign number 7. We are there in the long stretch of it. Thanks for staying with me. Keep going. This is such important and valuable information to keep your heart safe and to get you closer to real love. Okay, so emotionally unavailable. What girl has not dated the emotionally unavailable guy? The emotionally unavailable guy is so appealing. He's so appealing. If you think about it in terms of marketing, supply versus demand, right? So he seems like this high prize, high valued kind of guy, right? Because he's hard to get, because he's slightly indifferent towards you, because he can take you or leave you, which makes him incredibly appealing. It's like, if I can snag this kind of guy, I'm really worth it as a girl, right? Again, none of that is conscious, but that is the unconscious message. If you can get the hard to get guy, or like, you know, think of Annette Bening and Warren Beatty, you know, he'd been a philanderer, like playboy for years, and she was, you know, everyone was like, wow, like what was it about her? You know, she's being extraordinary woman, which she is, by the way, but extraordinary woman to get this man who, you know, to finally commit and finally land down. So the emotionally unavailable guy, you know, is appealing because he is, you know, hard to get. He's hard to get. And so the indicator that you are dating the emotionally unavailable man is that you never know where you stand, you never know how he feels about you, and you never know the status of whether you're in a relationship, let alone if you're in a if you think you're in a relationship, what status you have in that relationship. Which again, that keeping you guessing, it feels very compelling. This, you know, he's mysterious, and he's, you know, he must be such a great guy and such a great catch because he's so hard to get, right? So this slightly love avoidant man becomes very, very appealing because you never know where you stand. And here's the thing, we are psychologically rewarded in our ego mind to seek security and safety, to fix the problem, to find the solution, to get from uncertainty to certainty. And so the emotionally unavailable guy is hooking us because we feel so uncertain about where we stand, so uncertain about what we can do, that we're actually highly motivated psychologically to get certain and get him, right? So our whole psychology just goes, how do I get this guy? How do I get this guy? And for a nice girl, wowza. Our try hard behaviors, earn his love, audition for the girlfriend part, prove that we're really worth loving, just kicks into high gear. And we go into this frantic, highly overexcitable energy to win this guy over. Of course, when you do that, a man gets lazy, because men only value what they invest in. I want you to write that down. Men only value what they invest in. If you're doing all the hard work, all the heavy lifting, taking responsibility, trying to make the relationship happen, you know, dancing around, I call it peacocking. A guy should peacock for you. That's how it works in nature 90% of the time. You know, the bird dances around, the male bird dances to win over the woman's affection. He shows that, you know, he's got it all together. He peacocks. But in the case of the emotionally unavailable man, he lays back and you peacock for him. You're auditioning for that position and for that thing, which makes you, again, fall into the illusion that he's this high value prize, when really he's just a hard to get guy who's probably not going to value or treat you the way that you deserve to be treated, Miss Queen. Okay, so all the pressure is on you to make the relationship happen, to make plans, to keep in touch, to create emotional depth, to being thoughtful, to fulfilling his love needs, and you forget about yourself in the process. And this is a prime example of the nice girl who gives herself away to be loved, who puts him first, before herself, who likes a man more than she likes herself. Hint, hint, other blog, famous blog of mine, most popular blog that I have is I like me, but I like you, but I like me more. I like you, but I like me more. And when you have that mindset, then you're really saying, hey, I'm never going to like you more than than I like myself. And I like myself so much that I'm only going to date someone who's truly interested in me, who's willing to invest in me, who's willing to show up for me, who is willing to pursue me. And so that gets you away from the emotionally unavailable guy. So realize again, there is a psychological vulnerability for nice girls that's higher than other women. And then secondly, there is this natural psychological motivation to pursue what is hard to get. And so you definitely want to make sure that you don't fall into that trap and you avoid Mr. Emotionally Unavailable. Deal? Okay. All right. I am going to come back off the screen and stick to our agenda. So where we're at right now, and I want to be mindful and respectful of your time, is I'm going to go through some of the questions that I received via email. Thank you everyone who sent in their questions. And please don't worry, if you didn't get your question in time, or you're listening to this training, you're going, oh my God, and you, sometimes we just hear something and a bunch of other questions will pop into our mind. Feel free to pop me an email. That's cool. I will definitely respond to you. Okay, and I'll either send you to a blog if I've already answered that question, or I will get you an answer basically. And you can email me at love@thelovecoach.com, and I will definitely follow up with you. Okay. All right, let me get off of screen share. There we are. I'm back. Okay, but I need to look at my PowerPoint slides because that is where I have the other one. Okay. Okay, I love this. This question is from Fran. Fran asks, what should I ask my date to discern from him whether we share the same values or not in life, and how soon should I ask? Okay, great question, Fran. So, you can screen right from the moment. In fact, I actually teach my clients how to screen before they even get on the first date. There's lots of ways to do that, whether it's offline or online. Definitely with online, there's more techniques to do that. So you can really set yourself up to have successful dates. Nothing more discouraging than going on a series of really bad dates, or dates that, it just makes you feel like, oh, there are no good men. It just feeds all those like negative beliefs that we might be having. So you can avoid a lot of that by knowing that. But that being said, first date general rule is that you're just about saying, do I feel good with this person? Am I having fun? Do I think that they're likable? Am I interested in going on a second date with them? That's really like what the first couple of dates are. That being said, I definitely in my past, I was dating and single, screened men on the first date, and sometimes it just created a very safe space for them. I learned very well how to make a man feel incredibly comfortable so he'd really reveal himself. And that was either a really, it was always a good thing, because I either really knew like, no, red flag, or incompatible for me, not the right fit, or really nice guy, definitely excited to continue pursuing him, and not opening to his pursuit, and engaging with him deeper into this possibility. So you can definitely do that. Some of the things you can glean just from that first conversation that are really like just nice, great topics are, segueing in, and of course, using the right intuition, is if, let's say, you value family, you can ask him, is family important to you? Are you really close with your family? Do you spend a lot of time with them? Do they live nearby? That kind of thing. You can glean like how involved that person is in family. Asking him, not like what he does for a living, but like what he loves in his life. So again, getting to his purpose and his interests, and finding out more about like what really drives him, right? So ask him what he does with his free time. That tells you a lot about, because men spend their time, money, and energy on what they value. Another hint there. So if he's not spending his time, money, and energy in you, he doesn't value you. He's not treating you as a real relationship potential. So you want to see like, what does he spend his time on? And that will help you understand if he values the same things as you value. So I value growth and personal learning and development. And so if I'm with a guy who never reads and never watches YouTube videos and never wants to improve himself, and it doesn't have to be in the same area as me, he just wants to love improvement, wants to grow, wants to learn, wants to become more capable and more competent in ways in his life. if I'm not seeing that, then, you know, and I can ask a lot of questions about, like, do you read books? Do you like this? Do you like that? And very benign kind of questions. But underneath that, I'm really like listening deeply for what is he committed to in his life. Okay, great question. All right, love this question from Carolyn. Carolyn asks, how do I get his love if he's shy and inexperienced? So my first number one thing when I read that, Carolyn, was just to flag what we mean by shy, okay? So shy can actually be a mask for insecurity. It can be, you know, the number 3 guy that we want to avoid. So is he insecure and unsure of himself, or is he just literally shy? And by the way, shy people don't necessarily lack confidence. They're just introverted. They just prefer to be more private or more, you know, contained within their own energy. They get energy going off and being by themselves and doing their own thing, filling up themselves up. They like to watch more than they like to be the front and center of attention. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily lacking confidence. So what I really want to qualify for you and have challenge you on is make sure that this shy guy who's just inexperienced, in other words, he might not be very competent in dating. He might not have a lot of experience in dating. And in some ways that's kind of a good sign because it means he's probably not a player. Dated one of those, right? Really smooth and knew all the right things and all the right moves and everything. And it was like, oh, okay, that either, you know, he's probably really good at getting women in bed, right? Like, you know, and it's probably dated a lot, which tells me a lot about him, right? So sometimes the more inexperienced guy sometimes means that you have to nudge him along or encourage him and give him the go ahead, like let him know it's okay to call, let him, you know, just kind of let him know what you need so that and then watch him want to please you and want to support you in that. So inexperience you can kind of train him a little bit, right? So in some ways that's really good, but you want to make sure that the shyness is not insecurity and that he truly is confident in himself. I love that question. I love your vulnerability, and I want to congratulate you so much on this one. And so this is from, I met a man about a month ago online, and on our 5th date, he invited me to his house for breakfast. Hint, hint, by the way. The at-home date is usually a booty call, just so you know. It's the general rule of it is like someone goes to somebody else's house, it's a potential of either being tempted to have sex or it's an invitation for sex, which he does cop out, or does cop I'm trying to get the right, opt yourself into that. Okay, so here we go. She said he wanted to get intimate, and I didn't want to have sex until I don't have sex until I'm in a committed relationship. Good for you. He didn't push me, but he said that if I don't get married, I'll get hurt. I don't know what that means. He doesn't want to wait until marriage and said we were better off being friends. I don't want to break up with him. What should I do? What do you recommend? Okay, my dear. Couple things. I hope that's just an email error or like a little mistake in spelling or whatever, because you said he says if we don't get married, I'll get hurt. So first of all, I'm thinking hurt because you lost him or hurt because he's making a threat against you. So I'm just going to assume that you're safe and that there's no threat there. And if you did feel like that was a threat, then the easy answer, okay? But either way, easy answer. You have an incompatibility here. So what you want and what he wants are two different things. You want to be in a committed relationship with a man and not give your whole heart, your whole energy, because guess what? Most women, especially nice girls, if we are physically affectionate with a man, if we have orgasms, like we are biochemically wired to bond, not like men. So often if we sleep with a guy, like we're invested in him, we fall in love with him, we start to develop more feelings for him, and it creates a blind spot for us. So we never want to, one of my colleagues, and I'm forgetting her name, like not her name, I'm forgetting which one of my colleagues said it, it's brilliant. She said, date slow, break up fast. Yeah. So that's the way you do it. When you want to break up, it's like break up, have a clean slate, no contact for a while, build a friendship later if that's possible, depending on if he was not a toxic man or destructive in some way, then great. But you want to rip off the Band-Aid really quickly. But when you're dating, especially as a nice girl, you want to go super slow, take your time so that you can see the signs, see his character, develop a real true sense of this man. You want to see him in different ways, in different environments, and over time, because his true self will be revealed, as will you, as will your patterns, as will your compatibility and your connection. And you want to be able to see that you can create a sustainable thing. And in our Tinder culture of quick and fast and quick sex and quick connections and distraction and another option, you know, you want to make sure that you have someone, you're not rushing anything, so you make sure that this person's truly invested in you. Because if a man's willing to invest in you over time, it means he values you, and it means he sees a long-term, you know, he's looking long-term for you. So what he wants and what you want don't match. And so you're setting yourself up. So two things are going to happen. You're going to keep staying attached to him. Well, he's seeing you only as a friend, and he'll either try to still sleep with you, but actually he's telling you that he's not committed to you. Because a man who thinks that you're worth it will be like, hey, no problem, let's go slow. I value this. I don't want to screw it up. We have lots of time. And so, honey, this is not a man who can give you what you need. You need to hear that he told you the truth, and then just simply cut the cord. Okay. And if you feel like you can be friends with him, great, and not be tempted to sleep with him. But my feeling is he'll do the friends with benefits and just trying to drag you along, and I don't want that to happen to you. So super, super proud of you for saying, this is my standard, this is what I want to live to, so hold to that, because that's how you protect your self-worth and you protect your value and you put you and your happiness and your well-being first. So I really want to congratulate you for doing that, and I want to encourage you to keep doing that and not be tempted just because you like him. There's plenty of fish in the sea. There's plenty of men. You can find someone who will really meet you there and hold you, hold you in that high worth that you deserve. Okay. Other question. This is from Silke, I hope I'm saying that right, from Germany. She asks, why does a man disappear after a few great dates in which he also admitted he's fallen in love with me and even talked about the future? Okay. We talked about this earlier. So a man who says one thing and does another, you have to believe what he does. So this is a man who built up a dream, a fantasy, an idea that he was into you, that he'd fall in love, that you had a future together, all these things, said all the things to try to get you in bed, and either did or he didn't, and then realized that he wasn't getting anywhere and opted out. So here's the thing. A guy who is a player will come on hard and fast and strong, and he'll try to rush the connection and do it very quickly because he knows that he can't fool you for very long. He also knows that he's not willing to invest any further in you if he thinks that he can't sleep with you. So he won't go past the 5 dates. In fact, some of them don't go past 3 or 2. Or, it's the one single night and you never hear from him again. You thought you had this amazing date, right? But because you didn't go home with them, that was the end of that. Great. Thank you for showing me who you are. That's not what I want. That's not worthy of me. I want a long-term relationship. You clearly just want a lover or someone to sleep with. I'm not interested in that. Move on. Okay. So yeah, men do it all the time. It's dishonest. It's horrible. Sometimes they do it in a way where they're saying, oh, I do want a family. I do want, well, yeah, but does he want it with you? Is he putting a ring on your finger? And by the way, he shouldn't have 5 dates, because then that would be a red flag too. I'd be worried about what kind of person he was, that he wasn't willing to show his character over time and build a connection. Because guess what? A guy who really values himself too and isn't toxic or damaged or insecure, any of those things, he wants to know if you're the woman worth. So he's going to date slow as well, because he wants to know, is this the right person for me? I want to make sure I choose the right woman. Okay. So I love that question. Okay. This one's from, I hope I'm saying this right, Diane from Indonesia. She says, I met a man on Facebook and began a long-distance thing for 2 years via Skype. Okay, that's way too long. A few months into our virtual relationship, we started having cyber sex, which I stopped shortly after. He never asked for my phone number, but keeps asking me to get married. He wants me to buy my own plane ticket and come visit him to meet his mom. I ended this thing with him November of last year. He's still bugging me. What's up with this guy, Mary Jane? Help. Okay. I don't care what's up with him. I don't care if he's broken, flawed. He could also be a psycho. He could be dangerous. He could be a stalker. He could be a million things. He could be married. There's so many flags that come up for this. For me, I just am like so protective of you. I'm like, girl, first of all, okay, online or offline, 3 communications, especially if you're online. If you are going past 3 emails with a guy, there is a whole string of men who exist out there who are married or not married, doesn't matter which, who want to build up their ego, feel good about themselves, don't know how to have a functional relationship outside of the virtual online thing, right? Just like some men don't know how to be sexual without porn. It's, they just get wired the wrong way, they get programmed the wrong way, and they're just really very flawed and very broken. Either way, it's on your time and your heart. You're wasting your time and your energy on this man. First of all, I'd be worried about you going to see someone you really actually don't know and know nothing about. That's a huge safety flag, and I just want to be very protective of you that way. The other thing is, this is an emotional waste of time, okay? Nobody has a cyber relationship with someone for 2 years. So, he is using you. He probably has multiple women. This is not a man you can trust. There is no relationship here. A cyber online relationship is not a real relationship. And so you need to cut the cord and please never get into anything like this again. it is not the ground for an honest, trustworthy, real, healthy, full disclosure in public, in the light, open type of relationship. So it is something that is questionable and not worth your time. Okay, so move on, sweetie. Block him and don't ever communicate with him again, and don't get into another relationship with a man like that. Okay. 3 communications online, and then he should be asking you for a date, and he should be geographically close enough to do that, and he should be paying for the ticket himself. I've had men fly across the country when I was single to come date me. That's the way it should be. So that's that one, and it didn't take months for that to happen. Okay. Ming asked, what should I do to meet the right one without using online dating or anything artificial? Can I believe in fate and just be and let it happen? I love this question. I get this one all the time because I know about you guys, but I'm spiritual, I'm universal, I'm kind of into this whole, I wouldn't say I'm new agey because I'm too practical and scientific as well, but I think there, it's an element of mystery and the spirit and the universe, right? And I do believe that there are things that are predetermined. I also believe that a lot of it is our choice. So I kind of have a marriage between those two quite beautifully that are not in conflict, rather complementary to each other. But enough about me. Absolutely, I'm hearing that from you. Sometimes we think that natural or organic is better, right? Some natural things, by the way, are still chemicals. And we need to read those beauty products a little bit more carefully because they can say natural and they can say organic, but it's still something that is a byproduct to something that could be toxic or carcinogenic. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. It's amazing what the FDA allows. Anyway, off my little beauty health thing, the same thing kind of applies here, is that sometimes we think that it's more fate, but I know people that fated, fate brought them together and brought them together through online dating. So it's no better or no worse. I think that there are different challenges and benefits to online dating, and there's different challenges and benefits to offline dating. So here's an interesting fact. You spend majority, almost 80% of your life traveling at the same time in the same places geographically. So in other words, your world is very small. You go to the same shopping place, you go to the same grocery stores, you run the same schedule, you have the same workplace, you probably, again, you navigate your life basically in a certain small geographical space. So what online dating does for people is it gets them beyond geography. It allows them to reach out to people at other corners of their own city or beyond if that works for them. That they would otherwise be limited by. So it's a great marketing thing, right? It's out there in marketing, but it can be seemingly like there's tons of people, and then people, distraction and short-term memory and instant gratification, Tinder, yada, yada. So if you want to meet someone offline, and I actually recommend my clients do both. I teach them to do both. I've had relationships offline, and I had great relationships online. And some bad from both, right? So it doesn't mean that it's more meant to be if it's offline than if it's online. Okay, so maybe just be open to seeing that a little bit differently, but do both. And so if you want to meet someone offline, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone, your safety, your little net that you always travel in. You're going to have to shop in different places, go to different things, go to different events, meet different people. Get out of your little inner circle because it's too small and limiting. You've already met those people and there's nothing there, which is why people say, oh, there's no good men out there. There's no single men out there. Well, no, not if you're hanging out in suburbia with all the married men and their kids. You're not going to see a lot of those. You got to get out of the geographical space. So that would be my advice to you. And then the other piece of it is I have, I mastered this because I found it painful and annoying and frustrating time-wise and also disappointment-wise. And I created a system, that is very teachable that will help you screen for love online so you don't waste your time. Also ways to save time online so it doesn't consume your whole life because that can be a lot of work. And makes it super easy. Half an hour, 5 days a week, that's it, and makes it so that you actually get successful dates out of it. And so that it actually builds your whole belief that love is possible. And there are good men out there. And wow, this is feeling really good. And that was a great date, even if he's not my guy, right? Or that was a great date because I learned a lot about myself. Or that was a great day because we have real potential. This is awesome. So you just might need some more strategies, Ming, some more competency that will actually help you make online dating more successful. And definitely there's ways for you to make offline dating work for you as well. Okay, so very, very doable. Love that question. Great. I love this one from Levon. I think this might be my last question. I'm going to give you your 3 signs that he is the right guy because I want to keep us on track here. So Levon says, why do men keep coming back but don't commit. Why do men be in touch after a few months, tell me they want a relationship, you know, seem really happy, see them over the weekend, yes, sex was involved, she says, then they leave, you think everything is good, and he disappears, and then you talk to him like a week or two later. She says, this is very confusing to me. I'm doing my feminine energy, being vulnerable, telling him I appreciate him for driving over 150 miles to spend time with me, and then letting him lead to be the man. I just don't get it. I hear you. Okay. A couple things, Levon. Again, I want to get over what he says here, what he's saying he wants to be in a relationship, wants to move forward, wants to be connected with you, but then disappears. Okay, so he's inconsistently attentive. He is absolutely, he's lacking in integrity. So what he says and what he does are two different things. This is a man who is saying what he wants to say to get you to bed. And yes, men will be motivated. He's wants your company. He feels good in your presence. You're actually appreciating him, being vulnerable, giving him all this juicy, yummy, passionate, feminine energy, and sleeping with him. He feels good. He feels released. He feels happy. He feels great. He got what he wanted, and then he went back to his life. Okay, a man who's committed to you is trying to get you to get what you want as well. Okay, so he's not just coming around. He's not just, okay, that was good. You know, this every so often weekend thing is working for me. You know, he would be doing the things, he would be acting like your boyfriend. And I forgot which blog it is that I have, but if you again poke around on thelovecoach.com under blogs, then or Google it, you will find and actually, Levon, I think I have your email, so I'll probably find the link for you and send it. But I have a whole article in there of like signs that he's your boyfriend. How does a man act when he's really serious about making you his boyfriend? So first of all, he wants to nail you down. He's not going to just leave you open to be scooped up by anybody. You won't be, you know, wondering where you stand with him. He will be texting you regularly, calling you regularly, seeing you more than once a week. That's what a man does when he wants to be your boyfriend and be in a committed relationship with you or progress the relationship. So this man is telling you very, very clearly that you are his sex buddy, that you are the filler girl, that you are, now you're not the filler girl to me, you're a worthy woman who obviously is trying really hard to learn to be competent in dating and to learn how to be feminine and open, and I congratulate you for doing all those things. Honey, you're just doing it with the wrong guy. You're doing it with a guy who is not committed to you, okay? He likes what he's getting. He's getting filled up with your yumminess, and then he's walking away and he's leaving you empty and wondering and questioning. So you are worth way more than that. Please let him go and find a man closer to home and someone who wants to date you and commit to you and be exclusive, okay? And wants more than just sex. Cool? All right, I love your question. All right. I want to stay on point, so I'm going to flip back and finish this off, guys, with your 3 signs that he has potential. And I promise you I'm going to stay on track here, and it'll be nice and quick and very on point. Oh, yes, I have to click this first. Oh, where'd I go? Bear with me. Okay. Screen share. There it is. 3 signs he has potential. He is ready. He is loving. He cherishes your feelings. You heard me say number 3 over and over and over again in different ways during our time together. Let's go to point 1. He's ready, man. I love the episode in Sex and the City. It says the cab light is on. The cab light is on. So when a man is ready, he says he's ready. So I'll tell you the subtle version, I'll tell you the overt version, I'll tell you the subtle version, so you can see both, because some are more subtle about it. So the one guy says, he flat out says, I want a family, I'm ready, I've done the career thing, I'm all set up, I'm ready to go, I want children, I want a wife, I'm looking for a wife. He will say that, okay? The other guy, I always wondered why men did this, and I figured it out later. Go on a date with them, and they would show me pictures of their house, pictures of their cars, they would tell me about their career, they would tell me, you know, I've got, you know, they would sort of show me that they were set up, right? So, you know, this is the traditional provider, right? The guy is saying, here, I can provide for you. I'm wanting a relationship. Here's my home. Here's this. He's entering you into his life. But he's showing you, I can take care of you. I've planned this out. I'm ready to go. Because here's the interesting thing. Men do not marry for love alone. They marry for someone for a heart to connection, absolutely, just like we do, and they want the same things. They want commitment, they want all that stuff, and as long as they know they have some freedom in that. But they absolutely do that. But a man, if he thinks he can afford a woman, if he thinks that he doesn't have his act together in other places of his life, he will let her go to forego getting his purpose, his money, his career, other things on track that he thinks he needs in order to provide for her and keep her. Because again, men invest in what they value, and they're not going to invest in something that they don't think is going to last or that they can't keep or hold on to, because that's a bad investment. Invest in something, it'll just go. So it's a different way of thinking. They think differently than we do. We just think love, nice girls especially, we're like, I love him, it's enough, we can overcome this obstacle, I can fix this, I can do this, that's okay, I'll tolerate that. You know, like nice girls think that love can overcome anything, and men honestly think I need to have my act together, good men especially. And so that is the number one ready. Secondly, he's loving, and he's not loving and said, I'm going to be loving or I'm going to show up for you. He actually shows up for you. So loving is an action, it's a verb, it's something he does. And a man who loves you, guess what? Cherishes your feelings. So a man who is loving wants to fill you up, wants to make you happy, wants to see you ignite, wants to watch you blossom, because he gets to take credit for it. He goes, I made her feel so good, oh my God, now I feel filled up. So here's the thing, is that nice girls who over try all the time never give men the opportunity, especially good men, to build them up, to fill them up. They're not receptive enough and feminine enough, right, to open up their heart, because they don't trust. And I'll get into that more this month as we talk in the training. But so that's a biggie. So number 3, cherishes your feelings. If a man ever dismisses how you feel, dismisses your, diminishes your feelings, tries to argue with your feelings, gets defensive against your feelings, that is a huge red flag, red flag, red flag, because he cannot love you if he doesn't see you. He cannot see you if he doesn't acknowledge your feelings. Your feelings are the guideposts for, I'm on track, I'm not on track, I'm aligned in the right relationship, I'm not, this is what I want, this isn't what I want, right? So when we're feeling something not so great, our negative feelings, they're not bad, we shouldn't judge them. They're actually just feedback saying, you're off track here. Something is happening that does not feel good or isn't aligned with your values or who you are or what you want. And when a man is cherishing your feelings, you feel understood, you feel seen, you feel supported, you trust him, you begin to rely on him, you can open your heart to him, you can lean on him, his advice, his support. That is what a man is and female relation, masculine feminine relationship is supposed to be about. That's the exchange that's supposed to happen. So if you can't cherish your feelings, nothing good is going to come out of it. And you're going to get all the bad signs I was just talking about a man who is, especially if you share your feelings and then the insecure guy would probably start talking about his. Yeah, I totally relate. This happened to me. Here's my wound. Here's my pain. And he wants you to validate his feelings, meanwhile yours weren't validated. Or the self-centered guy just dismisses yours. Your feelings aren't even important. They're not even part of the equation for him. He's all about himself. The guy who lacks purpose is just not a guy who you could ever rely on his wisdom or his guidance or his support or his understanding, because he doesn't have the depth to go there. So you'll never quite fully trust him or fully respect him. The emotional unavailable guy doesn't care. He'll cherish your feelings if it gets him what he wants in the moment, but ultimately it's disingenuous and is really not invested in it. So you can see how that all fits together. So the number one thing, ladies, and this goes back to the other question, I forgot her name, but the girl who asked, like, what do I look for? Or what do I ask on a date? More than anything, when you are engaging with a man at any level, online, chatting, texting, phone, on a date, out in public somewhere, you're looking for a man who's going to cherish your feelings. And there's ways to actually test that he is responsive and healthy and appropriate in terms of, doing that and honoring who you are and seeing who you are. So I love that one. Again, a man who cherishes your feelings wants to make you happy. He wants to hear your needs and he wants to fulfill them. So here is the deal, guys. I believe in you. I believe in love. I believe that love is possible for you. If it's in your heart, if you've been given the dream of love, that you want to find a loving, real, secure relationship, then I believe it's possible for you. The universe doesn't play favorites. If it's possible for someone else, it's possible for you. And so if you're given a dream, you're never, ever given a dream that you're not capable of achieving. So yes, you might need to grow your confidence, and yes, you might need to grow your competence and your capability. But that's all very doable. Don't you feel more encouraged? You have more wisdom, more knowledge to add to your repertoire to, just get you that much closer, so you can fill up that gap between where you are right now and where you want to be. And I just really want to hold the space for you, that you are deserving of love. Here is my message and my mission. I am tired of women feeling less than, flawed, not good enough, unlovable, or not worthy because some man failed to cherish them, failed to adore them, failed to protect them and respect them and love them the way that they deserved. Let's heal that broken heart. Let's heal that wound. Let's get over that piece. Claim your self-worth, because my message, my big message is you are worth loving. You are worth loving, and you are totally lovable and worthy. And so let's embrace that. That's what February is all about. That's what the rest of your life is supposed to be about. That's what the next phase all looks like, is you really sitting in that worth and claiming it and knowing that you're worthy, and coming into your brilliance in every absolute way. And once you have that and know that, let's protect it by not dating these terrible men who are going to make you feel less than, right? Let's protect that, get you in front of the right kind of guy, and give you the tools and skills that you can actually take that good foundation, that good potential, and turn it into the love that you deserve and desire. And that's what I'm here to support you in. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for your presence in this training. And it was after the fact. I apologize for the technical. It was double duty for me, but that's okay. I'm so dedicated to you. It's okay. My bad. I think I've got it now. So I am here for you. I adore you. I acknowledge you. I see you. And I am rooting for you in absolutely every way. Let me get my face on that. I am so here for you. You are worth loving, and I'm in your corner. And feel free to reach out to me. And I will see you guys all next week for the Nice Gal Vulnerabilities. Let's get that next level of protection, right? We know who to avoid. Let's get the vulnerabilities, minimized and supported, and pad that for you, and start to get into the love-worthy piece so that you can really claim that self-worth back, feel good enough for love, and believe in love again, okay? You're worth loving. Have a beautiful night. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.